Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of April 22nd, and we have another eventful week. It is a new moon. We also have had a season change, so the sun is now in Taurus, and we are in a more earthy season. Taurus is the fixed earth sign, and so feeling a little more under the influence of that grounded energy this week. And we're so on the edge of big changes and still are this week, though, cleaning up the past and have more endings on the plate as we still have a two planets and the North Node lining up in the last degrees of Pisces this week. So that is another one we'll chat about this week. Also having a conjunction between Venus and Saturn, and that's with the North Node there. And that gonna be a tougher week though this week, because we do have the exact opposition of Mars and Pluto. And so looking at quite potentially a conflictive week, tougher week with more challenges with Pluto and Mars in that opposition. So just get started on this right now. On April 22nd, we start the week with the moon in Pisces. And so Pisces is a little more of a private, more personal sign. This energy, when the moon moves into a sign, is going to be the general mood of everything. And so with Pisces being the main mood here, and also carrying this kind of weighted, heavy Saturn, North Node, Venus conjunction, also that the moon is fast approaching once it enters Pisces. So a little more of a private energy. Pisces is going to be more like behind the scenes, a little more of a surrendered energy, and, you know, very much about the past, and can bring a lot of illusion and delusion and distortion into things. And so with lots of Pisces energy coming in, when the moon shifts there, we can feel very emotional because the water signs, Pisces is the mutable water sign, and all water signs, they bring more emotions, more of that connection to how we are feeling. And so there could be some sort of endings taking place also, as Pisces represents endings, and that being the 12th sign of the zodiac is going to bring things to a close. As the 23rd of April rolls around, we approach the exact conjunction with Venus and the North Node, just bringing a lot of fateful energy into Wednesday of this week. The North Node represents things that we are bringing into our life, places we are heading to, the direction of our future, the karmic direction. And also that it puts Venus in an opposition with the South Node. So North Node and South Node are right across from each other. So that is very much finalized decisions, the South Node, about leaving things behind, and the South Node representing things we are walking away from and things that we are ending in our lives. So Venus represents relationships, love, and money. And so on April 23rd, we could have a very, very fateful day in terms of love, money, relationships, with karmic action and karmic course correction taking place with the North and the South Node there. This is very destined. This is also going to create long-term effects on the future, because that's what the interaction with the nodes does. So it's very, very karmic. And this whole week really is, because Saturn, Venus, and the North Node are all conjunct basically all week, and they're all just sitting together, doing Pisces work, finishing things up, letting go of old, distorted stories and ideas and, things that we are telling ourselves, feelings, old, outdated feelings and habits and addictions. Pisces very much represents obsessions and addictions. So old, outdated obsessions, addictions, leaving those things behind. And this is a fateful opportunity to have long-term effects on our future. And that same day of April 23rd is a very final type of day, because the sun in Taurus is making a square with Pluto. And Pluto is about power struggles. It's about final endings and transitions. This is where we have a transformation with Pluto. We go through a death and a rebirth, and the sun in a square with this is going to very much be in our focus. The sun is what we're experiencing. It's our identity. Coming into a square with Pluto is not a rare thing. It happens a couple of times a year, but it is an opportunity to transition, transform, transmute. Pluto is in an opposition with Mars this week. So when the sun is squaring Pluto, it is not only squaring Pluto, but it is squaring Mars at the same time, which puts the sun in a T-square with these two entities. And Pluto, Mars, both the malevolent planets, both the considered to be the tougher energies to work with. Pluto about power struggles and death and rebirth, and Mars is about aggravation and anger and taking action without thinking. So the sun is caught dead in the middle of this, the sun representing us and our identity and how we are experiencing the world. So this is indeed one of those very interesting, challenging weeks where when all these things kind of compile together, you start to see that this week is very potent, and that this week could have some long-term impacts. So slowing down and taking a lot of care with action, with how we are transforming situations, with how we are experiencing things. This too shall pass. And so it is a time to have caution, because when you take a risk, when you have such wild card energy in the chart, you take a risk at such a fateful moment, it could have some real, true, finalized, long-term effects. So taking much, much care with this week, and being willing to allow things to be intense, and being willing to allow things to be forced to change, and surrendering to that, as Pisces would like us to do. Because come April 24th, Thursday of this week, we have that exact conjunction of Venus and Saturn. And Venus and Saturn are another tough two energies to blend together. Venus is pleasure, and Saturn is restrictions and rules and responsibilities. And so these types of energies are very different, but they support each other at times when we can slow down and absorb, what's taking place, the absorption process. This is happening at 26, 27, 25 degrees of Pisces. So check in your birth chart where this interaction is taking place at the last degrees of Pisces. What needs to come to a close? Because we are on the last round of these big endings with this last major conjunction of Venus and Saturn. This is the third time that these two planets have actually had this conversation. So you could see this week big endings taking place. It could be like tough love, because Saturn is the tough energy and Venus is the love. So we got tough love this week, and this being the third pass, we could see decisions being made, final decisions being made to move forward. It's a little heavy, it's a little serious with Saturn there. But Saturn is indeed the decision maker and can help us do that. There could be commitments. There could be decisions to commit to things this week. And Pisces is a distorter, so it's hard to know what's yours and what's not. And so, being very, very gentle to work through this the way that you need to. And also, again, just having a lot of emotion and having to make emotional adjustments to these endings and these decisions that are being made and these commitments that are like begging to be had. And then we have the moon moving into Aries and out of Pisces. That was a long couple of days with the moon in Pisces and a lot happening there. The top half of this week is very fateful. It's very intense, but it doesn't lighten up. When the moon makes it to Aries, we still have plenty of interaction. The moon comes into a conjunction with Neptune. Neptune is reminding us of our new hopes and dreams and desires. As Neptune has moved into Aries, it's done having those endings in Pisces, and it's looking toward these new beginnings. Neptune will go back into Pisces later this year in a retrograde, but we are looking at a new Neptune for the future, new hopes and dreams and desires. And we come into contact with those on Friday. And also, there may be some action even that takes place as the moon's in a trine with Mars and makes us feel like taking action. There is also a conjunction with Mercury later in the day on Friday, April 25th. That's going to be some new news and some new thinking and some new mental clarity, because that Mercury, once the moon makes that conjunction, is going to be leaving the retrograde shadow and entering new territory. So our minds are going to be looking at things quite differently when we wake up on Saturday morning, April 26th. And this is quite possibly the most, I don't know, like the day to take the most caution with, because this is the exact opposition of Mars and Pluto. And it's just kind of a wild card. It's also the moment right before the new moon, when we are in the dark moon phase. There could be conflict, there could be power grabs, there could be actual fights, there could be people on one side and people on the other not able to see each other's perspectives. A really good time to not force any issues and to not push any issues or themes that don't need to be pushed. Saturday, Sunday, just try and focus in on that new moon in Taurus and your new intentions that you're making around this season that we have with the sun in Taurus. It doesn't feel like the greatest Taurus season because Venus is with Saturn. Venus is the ruling planet of Taurus and is normally allowing us to focus on just our, pleasures and our money and our resources and being nice and stable in Taurus. But Venus is being shaken up and challenged right now and being pushed in new directions herself. So we are doing so much in terms of intense transformations and accepting like fateful opportunities and fateful directions for our life. And Taurus is definitely the fixed earth sign where it's like not wanting to change and not wanting things to end and holding on tight to stuff and being kind of stubborn, So if you feel these types of intense feelings coming in, just know that there are many places to lean in the astrology astrology right now. There is the surrender in Pisces. There is the fateful opportunities coming in there. There are some really great opportunities now to make some final decisions and to make those commitments that you've been looking forward to making as we get more clarity with planets in Aries and kind of this Pisces moment coming to an end. But yeah, definitely still a week of some big endings, some fateful endings and transformations. So take it easy and be gentle to yourself and to those around you. And I just really appreciate you being tuned in here to the Cosmic Community Astrology. I am Stacey Dredd, Galactic Ambassador, and I'll be chatting with you again soon. Thank you so much. Take care. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.